Welcome to the Plebeian Farmer, a lifestyle vlog for the collapsing 20s, where we talk about homesteading, DIY, prepping, and living your best life in these wild times. I'm your host, James. Hello, hello. Today we are going to talk about growing our own food and some important background information to help you succeed. Look at this sad piece of broccoli all alone out there. Plants, like humans, are social creatures. Plants have friends, just like us. And they got enemies too. Serious people call this companion planting. I'm not a serious person, however, and therefore I call them best friends forever plants and frenemy plants, along with a few other titles. Yes, I am anthropomorphizing plants. But that's what people do. Some of us anthropomorphize pets. Others anthropomorphize God. I anthropomorphize fruits and veggies. Like I said, it's just our thing. There are many different benefits to companion planting, including natural support, like how corn provides pole beans its stalk for the beans to climb up in order to reach the sunlight. Plant health. Plants like lavender, Marigold, and rosemary help attract helpful insects that feed on crop-destroying pests. Improve soil. Plants like peas infuse the soil with nitrogen, which benefits other plants sharing that space. Prevent weeds. Ground covers like comfrey help prevent weeds from growing in that space and also help with erosion control. Provide shade. Plants like tomatoes help provide shade for smaller cool season crops or seedlings still getting established so that they don't get too much sun. So, let's take a look at the different best friends forever plants, frenemy plants, and everything in between. First, we have the best friends forever plants, or the ride or die plants. First thing to come to mind here would be the three sisters: corn, pole beans, and squash. These three badass ladies support each other through thick and thin. Corn provides physical support for the pole beans to grow up and reach the sunlight. Pole beans infuse nitrogen into the soil, benefiting the other two. And the squash leaves shade the ground, keeping the soil moist for the corn and beans, and help with weed control as well. Weeds are and should always be a heavily controlled substance in the garden. That said, the three sisters also have large social circles outside of their throuple. Corn also gets along well with peas, cucumbers, and basil. Beans go well with strawberries, carrots, cabbage, peas, and sunflowers. Squash grows well with radishes, marigolds, pumpkins, and dill. And here are some other friend plants as well. Sunflowers. Sunflowers are the life of the party. Who doesn't love a good sunflower field? It always brightens the mood. They can also be good friends, providing shade and attracting pollinators. Sunflowers grow well with lettuce, squash, cucumbers, onions, garlic, peppers, melon, and kale. Carrots. In my personal opinion, carrots go great in a group, like in a salad or soup, but not one-on-one. We just don't click personally. It's a lot of awkward small talk. You know what I mean. Carrots make good companions for parsley, radish, cucumbers, dill, potatoes, and chives. Beets. You love them or you hate them. They're controversial and provocative, and people have strong opinions on them. Full disclosure, I'm a fan. Beets grow good with onions, beans, lettuce, cabbage, and radishes. Next, we got the Friends with Benefits plants. Not suggesting anything scandalous here, but these plants really seem to like each other. Marigold. Marigold gets along with almost everything. She really is just that chill. And she makes a great companion for potatoes, tomatoes, eggplant, cucumbers, squash, kale, and broccoli. But out of all these potential lovers, Marigold really seems to be digging asparagus these days. Not that I can blame her either. I mean, asparagus is pretty sexy looking with that lean swimmer's build. Come on now, you were thinking the same thing too. Unfortunately, asparagus has some commitment issues. He doesn't seem to realize he isn't a seedling anymore, and being a 40-year-old club boy is not an attractive look. If he doesn't get it together soon, broccoli is going to snatch Marigold up. Just saying. Now, not all companion plants are best friends. Some are more like Facebook friends. They like each other enough and make good small talk, but they're not tight. For example, lettuce and tomato. They're work buddies, but not real life buddies. Tomato vines provide shade for lettuce seedlings still being established, hanging out in its shadow during hot summer days. But you could replace tomatoes with potatoes or corn, and lettuce would not know the difference. Sorry, tomato, you're kind of being used. Now, there are also some plants out there with poor boundaries. Knowing this in advance helps us prepare for challenging interactions. Serious people call these invasive plants, but like I said, I'm not a serious person. Strawberries are a classic example. Their runners will spread throughout your garden bed if you let them. Strawberries like to monopolize the conversation. It's all me, me, me with them. But we put up with it because they're just so sweet. And despite that one personality flaw, they still grow well with lots of plants. Spinach, lettuce, garlic, mint, cucumbers, sage. The best way to handle strawberries' intrusive nature is to set strong boundaries from the start. Like I did with this fieldstone border, along with the crushed stone. There's no way the runners will break through that. Mint is another invasive plant you need to keep your guard up with. And now for the frenemy plants. You know, the plants that you just should not plant together. When you do plant these plants together, you get lots of nasty, passive-aggressive remarks like nice dress, ha ha ha, or eye rolls, or being intentionally late. We all know how catty queens can get. There are many reasons why plants don't grow well with certain other plants. They fight for the same nutrients in the soil, one hinders the growth of the other, one blocks sunlight from the other and impacts its yield, one harms the other's root system. There are lots of reasons why plants aren't always compatible with one another. It's not even always personal. Sometimes it's more guilt by association. Like with Bambi here. I love Bambi when she comes strolling through my yard, but I have to keep my distance because Bambi, despite being fabulous, hangs out with the wrong crowd. The infamous dare tick, to be exact, which spreads Lyme disease. Some would say Bambi suffers from low self-esteem, and that's the reason why she hangs out with this loser. No matter the reason, though, I want nothing to do with her crew. The same can be said with certain plants, like tomatoes, which unfortunately hang out with the tomato hornworm, which also kills eggplants, peppers, and potatoes. Not someone you want to know. Potato and tomato. These two aren't even frenemies. There's no fake friendship here with lots of backstabbing. These two straight up hate each other, and putting them near one another will result in a fight to the death. They got bad blood between them. With the way they are with one another, you'd think Tomato stole Potato's man, ran over her dog, and burned her house down, all on the same day. The truth is, potatoes and tomatoes are part of the same family, the nightshades. And as we all know, family doesn't mean you always like each other. There's only one circumstance where they actually go well together. Potatoes are pretty high maintenance in general. Drama, drama, drama. They also don't get along well with carrots, cucumbers, eggplants, peppers, squash, turnips, and pumpkins. The best way to diffuse the situation here is to plant these two in different garden beds. And I go so far as to put a third garden bed between them. Basil is a good buffer between these two arch enemies. Isn't basil just the best? Other frenemy plants include corn and tomatoes, strawberries and cauliflower, potatoes and raspberries, onions and asparagus, pole beans and beets. So, now that we've covered all that jazz, let's get started with planting our plant babies. Go get your seedlings you've been growing, or go buy some baby plants from your local nursery. And start drawing up your garden bed design with what will go where and next to whom. It's kind of like planning a wedding table seating chart. Fun, fun. For more gardening tips, please subscribe to my channel. And if you like, check out my blog, The Plebeian Farmer, on Substack.com, where we talk about homesteading, prepping, DIY, health, and hippy-dippy off-grid living. And if you liked my raspberry giving a raspberry doodle, check out my NFT collection entitled Fresh Foodies on OpenSea. Going for next to nothing thanks to the crypto crash. Thanks for stopping by. Now it's time for me to relax after a long, hot afternoon in the garden. See you next time, friends.